Today's the turn of Leon Staphorst. He works at the CSIR. I'm going to be very nice to him today because you're involved in the field of electronic warfare.
Yes, I am.
Tell me about that.
Basically, we, in our group, the Experimental Electronic Warfare Group, we develop systems that are used to test and emulate electronic warfare systems on platforms like aircraft and ships and so forth.
And in English, that means what?
It means things like what you see in the movies, jammer systems, radar systems, those kinds of things. That's what we develop.
Oh, so you're the peaceful guys. You don't actually make weapons that kill people.
Yes, we like to not... although the industry term is electronic warfare, we rather like to talk of electronic defense.
Electronic defense, that's what it is. The South African defense industry is quite an interesting one because there are pockets of excellence in it. But if you look at Denel, for example, it hasn't been the world's biggest financial success. Is there really scope in a country like South Africa for a defense-type industry?
I believe there is scope for it. We at the CSIR, we are also struggling to grow it to the extent that we would like to see it to grow. So you have, for example, Arms Corps that is driving a number of R&D programs and development programs that is spurring on the defense industry in South Africa. For us, however, unfortunately, to get the capabilities and competencies that we need, we've had to resort to finding business outside of South Africa. So our major client base is actually no longer the SANDF. It's actually clients in Saudi Arabia, South Korea, China, and so forth.
And what about skills? Because of course you're an electrical engineer. You did an MBA at GIBS as well to sort of bring you into the real world, because engineers really struggle with the real world when it comes to comes to business. Again, that transition from electrical engineering to give you a more business focus, how was that transition?
I think it's been a bit of a challenge. Until recently, I was still really heavily focused on the actual research side of things. Specifically in my area, I was focused at digital signal processing. But with the need for us to find business outside of the Arms Corps and SANDF space, business development's become such a big focus in the CSIR that it's actually not... There's no option not to go into business. So all of our guys, the engineers, are now actually actively marketing the products, capabilities and competencies that we have. And I must say it's amazing. It's not everyone's dilberts. They some of the guys are actually really good at doing business and negotiating, finding new business, doing marketing and so forth. So it's been a trip, I think.
No, but absolutely, would be very hard for somebody to come in from the outside without an electrical engineering background, because you've got to have an intimate understanding of what you're developing, an intimate understanding of the capability, and then the added skill is in the selling. And the selling things generally is easy, but you're selling to people who also have the same level of understanding as you do. So it's peer-to-peer.
It is. Even coming in from being just an electrical or electronic engineer or computer engineer, those are the skills that we use. It's a challenge to get into the defense industry, because the degree programs are primarily focused, the skills that we use from signal processing and so forth is focused towards the communications market. So it takes a fair amount of retraining and getting guys used to the defense side of things. To the extent that we've reached the point where we actually, with the University of Cape Town, started creating a new master's degree program specifically focused at radar and electronic warfare to get the guys online quicker. So it's a bit of a challenge, yeah. So even if you're an electronic engineer, it's not easy to get into something like electronic warfare.
Is the skill in developing sort of defense capability, the electronic warfare capability, not more effective in an environment where the country is under threat, where there is a real danger? One wonders whether or not that adrenaline rush would make you more productive.
Definitely, and definitely from a funding perspective, then there's more impetus from government to fund R&D programs. However, if you look at things like piracy, abalone poaching, those kinds of things that's happening on our borderlines, operations other than war is actually starting to become more and more important for us.
So civilian applications as defense as well.
Yes. For example, the redeployment of the National Defence Force on the landward borders as opposed to the police that used to be there. That's a big thing. Piracy from Somalia is almost down to South Africa now. It's coming through the Mozambique Channel. So our Navy is actively involved in trying to fight that. So that's actually for us at Defence, Peace, Safety and Security at the CSR a bit of a challenge, because our whole structure and all of our capabilities and competencies were developed around wartime applications, and now we need to refocus a little bit. So
it's very easy when you know who the enemy is.
Exactly. So we have a fair number of research now, research programs now looking at things like persistent surveillance techniques to monitor what's happening along our coastlines, and actually learning from for example, if you look at abalone poaching, which is a big thing on our coastline at this stage, which is a problem, is learning who is an abalone poacher and who is not by being able to extract the intent of what they're doing. So for us, it's a steep learning curve, but we're getting there.
At that point, we will leave it. Leon Staphorst is with the CSIR. He did his MBA at GIBS and helped him take that quantum leap. Quantum, that's quite technical. From being an engineer into business.